Hey, it's Molly. Welcome back to my channel as we're going to look at the mutable T-square that is unfolding through the second half of August. The chart you're looking at is for August 20th, 2024, and I selected this particular chart because the moon is now in play with the T-square. So let's take a look at the chart. So the moon is here at 17 degrees of Pisces, conjunct Saturn. And this is about a day or so after the Aquarius full moon, which has its own T-square. I mean, this period of time in August is really revved up, very uncertain, a lot is in motion, and a lot is happening. But let's specifically look at the T-square with the mutable planets. Now, I did a previous video for you discussing more about Saturn in Pisces squaring Jupiter in Gemini at 17 degrees, and how that exact square is actually occurring on August 19th, the same day as the Aquarius full moon. And yet we have other players in the equation here with this Mars still conjunct Jupiter in Gemini. And then we have this Venus that has entered the conversation. Now she's at 19 degrees here in this chart, but Venus really comes into the conversation August 17th and 18th. So we have basically a good week of this energy showing up. And it's highlighting change, things falling through. It's showing us what is completing and ending. Saturn is actually the most influential energy here. And Saturn is going to be closing out and ending what is not right for the new cycle of energies. So let's break this down a little bit more, because the Saturn-Jupiter square is the main energy signature. It is an opening square based on their last conjunction, which occurred at 0 degrees of Aquarius, late December 2020. And now Pluto is hanging out here, transforming, evolving, basically taking apart what is not best for the collective consciousness, revealing what's out of integrity, and also how our frequencies are going to be growing quickly and rapidly in 2025 and beyond. So there is a preparatory energy here, because knowing that we're moving into uncharted territory in 2025, Saturn is saying, what is not going to work? What's not a fit? That's an old cycle. Don't repeat that. Grow from this, spiritually advance, honor the closings as an important part of a cycle. And this Saturn squaring Jupiter, which has all the ideas, all kinds of things you want to try and do, and why not, and let's have fun, conjunct Mars, which has the energy to go for it, the sprinter, lots of ideas, many directions, non-committal, restless, why not, nothing to lose. There's optimism and excitement here that the Saturn is basically saying it's not the right time. That idea isn't going to go very far. What's the second choice? What's the next option? And Gemini always has multiple options. Okay, if it's not this, then how about that? If it's not this person, how about that person? If it's not this direction, let's go over here. That's part of the restlessness and the stirring of Gemini is, it's okay, if it's not that thing, it'll be something else. And that's also a strength of Gemini, to be light on your feet, to be light, to have a quickness. This is the sign of Mercury the messenger. Just keep it going, move it forward. Do what you can with what you have, with the information you have. But Mars is also a trigger, which can be exaggerated with Jupiter. Big words, big reactions, big statements, all of that comes up. And then we have these two planets in Gemini squaring this Venus at 19 degrees of Virgo. That is very exact, particular, wants things a certain way. What's the order? What's the process? Let's straighten things up. Your room is messy. Let's put things into their labeled compartments. This Venus wants things to be simplified and minimized. And so she's squaring these two planets in Gemini, which actually are dominating her. They're talking very loudly. She's a librarian. Can you just be quieter? Can you settle down? Can you just choose one idea and focus on it? These two are over here just having a great old time, not listening. So the Gemini energy is overriding Venus in Virgo, who wants to get something done. She's like, I can't focus with all of your loud chatter. And she wants things to be less. And she's also not only feeling that these two are overriding her and not listening, because they're not, but this Virgo energy that wants things to be clear. Virgo is the how we're going to do it. This is how we're going to do it. This is the plan. Saturn and Pisces, nope. That plan doesn't work anymore. That isn't the best use of your energy or your time. So this Venus in Virgo is getting a no. She's not being heard. She's feeling more stressed. And that would be something to manage as we move through into the second half of August, is your own stress level, your own anxiety, what feels out of your control that is worrying you. Because that Venus in Virgo, she will internalize the worry. It'll sit in her stomach. Virgo rules the digestive tract. And then she'll want to be aware of what she can do to correct it, change it, make it better. And the truth is, right now, she can't. She's not supported. She's potentially frustrated. And it's not until the Venus moves ahead to 27 degrees of Virgo that she'll get a trine from Uranus that helps her move ahead, not focus too much on things she can't control, and break out of whatever this stress is. So this Venus in Virgo, wherever you have middle degrees of Virgo in your chart, is where the stress is the greatest, the anxiety, the worry, the desire to make something proper. There's no order here. Where's the order? She doesn't have any order. She's got a big mess, a lot of talking, a lot of things leaving, very little to count on, and she feels ungrounded. So you'll be feeling this the most if you have, again, planets or points in these middle degrees of Virgo. And something to look at here in a T-square, which is what this configuration is where all the red lines are, is how the planets are actually all meeting right here. Okay, so there's a square to Venus, there's a square to Saturn, there's the opposition, and the energy, it gathers right here. And in the mutable square, the mutable T-square, it's very confusing, and there's anxiety, and there's too many options, there's too much to do. It could feel like daily life is pretty big, overwhelming. You're trying to manage it and do what you can with what you have. And so with this configuration, we look at what would help, what would support it. And actually, not only would we be looking for trines. So if you have trines to any of these energies, that's going to help manage it. But we're looking at what's missing, which is the Sagittarius energy here. And that's the bigger picture. The bigger picture, to not lose hope. Don't lose trust. Sometimes, the mess or the confusion, it just has to work itself out. Like this feels like a giant knot. And it takes time to detangle it and unwind it and let things play out. With Venus here, it's more personal to what you value. And it's, again, internalized. And you could be feeling like, what I really want to create isn't coming together. Mars also makes it more personal because Mars is what you want to do about it. Mars needs the action. Mars is being pulled in multiple directions. Might not have clarity, honestly, since it's a square to this Venus telling him what it should be, and the square to Saturn, which is the stop, and then that's not going to work. That's a waste of time. That's a waste of effort. And then, of course, you got the moon in here that's fast moving, but the moon conjunct Saturn is a downer. Don't lose hope in the process. Go higher. Step away. Lighten up. Have some fun. Sagittarius. Okay, this is crazy. Let's take a break. Let's go do something enjoyable. Let's get out of the everyday and the particulars. Let's not focus on what we can't control. Let's go do something that lifts our spirits, keeps us high, helps with the optimism, reminds us that it's just an adventure. Adventures all have their breakdowns on the side of the road, and then you refuel with gas and you figure it out and you call in a mechanic. It's kind of like, go with it. And see it as just a part of a story and not the end of a story. It's not the end. Confusion, indecision, uncertainty. How do you manage that? And that's personal. That's personal. Now, also in the mix, Mercury retrograde in Leo was just conjunct the sun in Leo, which Mercury's now behind the sun. So the conversations happening behind the scenes, the ideas that are coming together that you're thinking through, figuring out, what would light you up now? What gets your creative forces spinning again and invigorated? Go there. And here we have this Mercury trining Chiron in Aries, showing you the new parts of yourself where you're gaining the ability to be brave and do something new. And I think that's part of the secret here is what can you do new with what you've got? Keep in mind that this also plays into the Aquarius full moon chart. It's just wild. The Aquarius full moon chart has another T-square. And I have a separate video for you on that, where the moon is at 27 Aquarius, squaring Uranus at 27. And here's the Sun and Mercury in the T-square of the fixed signs. We've got these 2 T-squares going on in August. Don't buy into the mayhem. Don't buy into the confusion or the information or what's being said or not said. I mean, it's not reliable. It's going to change anyways, as it always does. But do what you can to lift your spirits. Because the energy in August is requiring change. Deep change. And sometimes it isn't orderly, clear, and clean, and it's not even known yet. It takes time for things to play out. So trusting a process and allowing things to come up as they do without being attached would be one way to navigate this energy. But in this particular T-square that we've been discussing, Saturn is the big player. Saturn is the strongest influence with these planets. Saturn ultimately doesn't want you to repeat a cycle that needs to be over and complete, and also doesn't want you to despair or go into any of the lower Pisces expressions while things are evolving and changing. And just know that the energy lightens up as the planets move away from this exact T-square, as Mercury will station retrograde August 28th. Then the Sun moves into Virgo, gets a new plan. So I guess just knowing that August, the middle of August, is energetically big, messy, confusing. Take care of yourself, take care of your body, take care of your mind, take care of your spirit, and do something that lifts you up and reminds you that it's all just a grand temporary adventure anyways. And the mutable signs can handle that. The mutable signs are great with change. They prefer change. They don't want things to stay stagnant or the same. Let's go for it. So this could be a powerful birthing point of a new choice and a new option that can only come up through the chaos and through the unknowns. Here we got a brand new portal coming up through the middle of the earth, rising and elevating us into new awareness and new options. Okay, well, I hope you enjoy riding the waves. If you have planets or points in the middle degrees of the mutable signs, middle degrees, Gemini, Virgo, Sagittarius, Pisces, this is working with you personally. This is bringing up things in your life you need to change, ready or not. Areas of life that are closing out, that can feel challenging. There's no energy there. Ideas that you're wanting to get off the ground, things you're wanting to put into motion, but you're not sure how it's going to work just yet. There's a lot here for the mutable signs to actually be in your strength of change and flexibility that could actually bring you new life, that could feel quite invigorating. It just depends, of course, on your chart. It's different for everyone, obviously. This is just a general reading of the energy signature, but mutable signs, play to your strengths. Just try it out. Sample something. Do it for a few days. Try something for a week. See what you think. Allow it to move through. You could also look at this as a buffet. Take a little of this on your plate, a little of that. No, I don't want that. That isn't for me. It's a buffet of options. And if you can approach it in that way, it will get you through. Be sure to check out my other video on the August 19th Aquarius full moon, because this energy is in that too. By the way, did you see what's happening this weekend of this energy? The Democratic National Convention. Okay. There is always something exciting on planet Earth. Take good care. I'll see you back here soon.